The developers at Catchweight Studios believe that unlike some other survival horrors, you don't need monsters or viruses when war provides enough horror as it is. So is Conscript actually scary and worth playing? I'll tell you that in just a bit, but also give you a piece of advice that I absolutely wish I knew going in. So as luck would have it, I was out of town when I started playing Conscript in a 130-year-old South African inn that felt haunted as crap. I actually caught something pretty strange on camera in one of the rooms, and I'll share the footage later so you can tell me what you think. But first, let's get back to the game. Available on pretty much all current gaming systems, Conscript is a top-down pixel art survival horror set during the events of World War I. Its game design feels like a love letter to the Resident Evil series, from the opening warning to the save room to weapon upgrade, inventory management, and the weird shopkeeper.
Welcome.
The gameplay, however, feels quite different. With a campaign that runs around 10 to 12 hours, you play a French soldier making his way around trenches and various other locations, needing to either kill or avoid enemy soldiers with upgradable weapons and collecting items needed to get you where you need to go. I selected the default difficulty, and when presented with save settings that allow for unlimited saves and/or checkpoints, I selected neither, as I wanted to review the experience as it was intended. This, it turns out, was a huge mistake. At first I got lost quite a lot, and only hours later did I really feel like I had finally found Conscript's groove. After that, it started feeling pretty good. However, combat itself isn't particularly great or challenging. The gameplay actually reminded me a little of Metal Gear on the NES. There's a notable lack of solid stealth mechanics to the point that you're just sort of walking around enemy soldiers, and you may walk up behind an enemy and stop to charge up your attack only to have them just sort of start walking away. Some of the mechanics make for a good experience though, such as puzzle elements or having to burn bodies like in Evil Within, except it's so that they don't attract diseased rats. It also started to become clear that the horror aspect of survival horror in Conscript was more about the overall setting and not the gameplay, as I never really ever felt scared while playing, unlike how, for example, I felt while walking around the hotel that I was playing in at the time. I'm quite a fan of retro pixel art in games, but I can't quite tell if it works in Conscript. And while it felt pretty good when playing in handheld mode on the Switch, the visuals and large pixels felt a little bit jarring when running on my big ass TV. I do like the animations and the general art styling though. Sound is pretty good too and helps set up tension, while the music that plays in save rooms starts becoming really comforting, just like it does in Resident Evil. I mentioned earlier that not selecting the additional save settings was a huge mistake, and I should also mention that you're warned that once the game begins you can't change those settings again. So at one point hours into the game I'd progressed through to some new areas without any real issues, and as a result I wasn't too worried that I hadn't come across any new save room. Well, I died after being put in an inescapable situation that you have to fight out of. And when the game loaded my last save, I realized that I had lost around 45 minutes of game time. And it was at this point that I could just feel the motivation to find out what happens next just leaving my body. Especially when, unlike Souls-like games, nothing is retained or learned. You just load back to the exact state that you were in when you saved. I mean, it's my fault, right? I'm the one who made the choice at the start. The problem is that when you start the game, you don't fully know what you're in for, but that doesn't mean I didn't enjoy the experience overall. So to answer two questions, is it scary and is it worth playing? So first of all, no, it really isn't scary at all, which is good or bad news depending on your tastes. Is it worth playing? I don't think I'll recommend this for just any old casual gamer, but if you're a big fan of the survival horror genre or World War settings specifically, then yes. But for the love of all that is holy and good in this world, take my advice and at least select the option for checkpoints on your first playthrough. We're just about done, but I did say I wanted to share that clip that I took. Watch it and then please let me know what you think in the comments. Before I do that, I just wanted to say thanks for watching. Please hit the like button if you enjoyed the video. I'll see you soon.
Scary skeletons and shivers down your spine.